Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through step by step of how I would go about starting an online business in 2022 with all my experience that I've learned to date. So this is going to cover everything from, just getting started to like not even having an idea to the problems you might face as well. It's going to be pure value. It's a Saturday morning here. I've got my favorite smoothie and I am ready to sit down with you guys and just hash this out with you, really smash it with you. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so it's 2022. You want to start a online business and you're seeing all these different adverts. You're probably getting hit with them all the time about this is the best thing you could possibly do at the moment. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so easy. I want to preface everything I say in this video by telling you starting an online business is not easy, right? Contrary to what everyone would have you believe. It's because they want to sell their products, but it's not easy. The people who have found it easy generally have got quite lucky. Either they've had like a post which has went viral straight away, or they had like a large network of people, or they had a ton of money which let them scale straight away. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume we are a real newbie and we don't have any of those advantages whatsoever. So step by step, let's get straight into it. So first of all, I'm going to assume in this video as well that you are in a job, like you're in a 9-to-5 job. And generally what most people say is that you should, just quit your job, go and fulfill your dreams, go out there, build this business. But in the real world, because I operate in the real world, it is much harder than that. And the people who basically tell you like this is possible, and there's all these examples of people who've just quit the job, like they had a bit of struggle, but 2 weeks later they were making 6 figures. That is called, there we go, survivorship bias. All right, excuse my writing, it is terrible. But it's called survivorship bias, right? You should Google that term. And basically what survivorship bias is that only the survivors are ever interviewed, because that's by definition, that's exactly who would get interviewed. Only the survivors are available to get interviewed. So like in comparison to online businesses as well, you will only see the testimonials of the people who have, made stuff happen and maybe have had a few lucky events, probably put a ton of hard work into it as well. But you will only see the testimonials of the people who built up a very profitable business very quickly without many obstacles. And if there were obstacles, they would have overcome them pretty damn quickly. So that is survivorship bias. Do not fall for that, right? The amount of people I have seen who have quit their job, they're like, I'm going to go and register a business. And like 3 months later, they're job hunting again because they've run out of cash. You need to do this in a smart way. I will tell you the way I did, right? Okay, so I had my little 9-to-5, and at the start of the day, you're getting up, you're getting ready, whether you're going to the gym, you're sorting the kids out, whatever, right? You have your little 9-to-5, and then afterwards you get home from like 6 till 7, you're eating, you're, kind of in a way, what most people would be doing is winding down for the night. Now, what most people actually do is from 7 till 10 at night, they zombify themselves, they couch potato themselves in front of the TV and they watch Netflix, right? And that is generally most people's lives. They like sort the kids out, then they claim it as their own time. If you're going to start a business and you're in a job, like you're going to have to make sacrifices, okay? And the sacrifice I made was working from about 6:30 each night to about 9. I've got a girlfriend as well, so, anything after 9, I was spending time with her, or maybe I was going out with friends or whatever. From about 6:30 till 9 is 2.5 hours of very focused work. Now, it can only be, because the problem is, by the time you reach the end of the day, right, you're starting to get to like this stage of you're feeling pretty tired, you might not be feeling it anymore, you can't really think well, particularly if you do a a cognitively intensive job, which I used to do as well. Like I was constantly, in my job, I had to be really in the detail in things. So like my brain was absolutely pooped by the time it came to, 6, 7 at night. And you can think, well, if you drink some caffeine, but then the problem is if you drink some caffeine, your sleep's ruined. So what you need to do is the night before you actually go to bed, you need to lay out a little list for yourself, right? And you lay out a list for yourself of specific actions you need to be doing. Luckily for you, I'm going to be painting the specific actions in this video today. So you lay out a specific list of actions. So when you get in at this point here, when you get in and you're like, okay, I don't want to do it, but I've got to sit down now and I've actually got to work on my business. You have like almost like a boss has handed you, a paper with some actions on it. You have pretty much been your own boss and you now will just follow through with those actions. It's much easier to do it that way, okay? I also made a big mistake as well, is I actually worked past 9. I didn't ever take a day off just because that's kind of the guy I am. I, was getting up at 5 a.m. For the gym, possibly 4:30 sometimes for the gym. I was working all the way through in a very intensive job from 9 till 6. And then I was working till 10 at night on my business. And I did that like every day of the week. I didn't relax at all because I thought, mind over matter, man, mind over matter. I'm a very, very hard worker and I eventually burned out. I burned out in the form. I didn't even know I burned out actually, but I burned out. I knew I was burning out because I felt like I was having heart problems. I'm a young, fit guy, right? I felt like I was having heart problems. I was waking up in the middle of the night in beads of sweat with crazy, like, nightmares, with this clamping feeling on my chest, like I couldn't breathe. I went to the doctors, got investigated and everything. Turns out I was having panic attacks, right? I wasn't having panic attacks during the day. But I was having panic attacks in the middle of the night while I was sleeping. My body could not relax, and every time it tried to relax, like the stress or something came out. That's how it kind of got described to me. But basically, don't burn it out too much, because I thought I was under the illusion that like quick results. But actually, business takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And as long as you can go to bed, and I'm just laying all these little things out at the start of the video, just so you're aware of what's to come. As long as you can go to bed each day, like maybe just a little bit better than you were yesterday. Either you've learned something new or you've attempted to make a little bit of progress, right? Try not to let yourself off the hook too much on this. So that's what I would say about this. We're going to get into some more mindset stuff later on, but what I want you to do is just know that this is a commitment. If you're going to do this, you're going to have to make some sacrifices, right? And if you look objectively throughout your day, there will be time to make sacrifices. If you really cannot find any time, like I've got this friend, right? He's so busy all the time, so busy, can't do anything. He's got his family, he's dealing with his kids, so busy. He likes to keep himself busy, right? It's a choice, right? I actually, he got a bit uncomfortable about it because I was like going like, dude, you could just do this here. Dude, you could just do this here. And like, if you looked at his day, there are actually plenty of holes where like, he was just deciding to keep himself busy, right? Some people like the excuse of not having any time because, I don't know, we're humans. We kind of feel like have purpose. We feel a bit more important if we really don't have any time, like our time's all taken up. So don't fall into that trap either. This is a commitment. So let's get to it, right? So you could be in one of two positions right now. You could be in the position where you don't have any idea or about what business you want to do, or like what you have like a slight idea about what business to do. Your only goal throughout the next few weeks / next few months is to gradually create a part-time income. So let's write that down first. These are your goals, all right? So we got some goals. Number 1 is create a part-time income. That is all it is. So just create a part-time income. And what we want to do over time is gradually phase this into a full-time income, income on my days. So either a full-time income or building up enough savings. So savings so we can actually quit our job and free up our time. This is literally the most rational action plan that you can do. So free time, it's actually quite hard to write on this. I didn't think it'd be this hard. Okay, you have to excuse me, guys. Right, free time, so quit job. That is basically what you should be doing. That is the path you should be aiming for. When you have a full-time job, you're not generating any income on the side. And then what you need to do is you need to take that, generate a little bit of part-time income, right? Because with the part-time income, it makes you feel a little bit better. It makes you actually walk into your job a little bit happier as well. There's all these kind of like these weird mindset changes that come with it. You start feeling a little bit more confident. You start feeling a little bit more competent in your skills as an entrepreneur as well, which then further swings back around and helps you actually, build up your business some more. So part-time income into full-time income, or I'm going to write that down as number 2, or / savings, building up enough savings to carry you over for a year. So you can actually, at this point, you can decide to quit your job, or you can decide to move down to part-time if you think you've got quite a lot of risk on the plate. These are things that these entrepreneurs online, these online gurus will not tell you, is that like the journey can be long, it can be tough as well, and you must look at what you're doing with your job and like your main form of income, because as much as you might hate your job and as much as you want to do entrepreneurship, it is paying your bills, probably at the moment. If it's not paying your bills, that's out of the scope of this video, okay? Okay, so part-time income into full-time income, then you can move down to part-time or you can quit your job, right? This is this part dealt with, okay? So let's get rid of all this. The next thing is we're gonna pretend for the sake of this video, we're gonna take you all the way through it, is that you don't actually have an idea, okay? So the best thing for you to do is, if you don't have an idea, is to look into your interests or experience. This is the quickest route, right? I've seen entrepreneurs who start a business around ideas which either aren't in their interests at all or they have no experience in. And it, without fail, it always takes way longer for them to actually be successful, to actually get started, all right? Way longer, right? You want to, I was chatting to my good friend Herbert the other day. I'd actually interviewed him for this channel. He runs like a successful Facebook adverts agency, an actual successful digital marketing agency, right? And he was saying that now he's successful, right? He was saying that he only managed to actually build a successful agency when he basically took his job and just pivoted slightly away from like the experience he learned in his job. So look at your experience. What experience do you have? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? All right. Write it down. Literally, logically, write it down. What do you know? What are you good at? What are you good at? Ask your friends. Are you good at? Okay. Interests. The quickest way for you to find what interests you is to look at your browsing history, okay? So, some people might not have very good browsing history, so probably just look at it on your own, all right? But interests, look at your browsing history, right? What are you spending most of your time on? I've got my phone here, and I don't know if you probably won't be able to see it, but basically I've got a little app on my phone, and it tells me exactly like what I've spent my time on and what websites I've browsed the most and where basically all my time is. So that is the second part. Interests. Work out what you're interested in. What do you naturally gravitate towards? What do you constantly talk about to your friends and family? So always be getting opinions from your friends plus family, and go to the friends and family that will actually objectively give you real information. You know, there's some friends and family that will literally just agree with you. Make sure you go to a person who, you know, isn't just gonna agree with whatever you say, because that's not helping you. It's not, and this is all just to help you. Okay, so friends, family, for your interests, experience, what do you do? What do you know? What are you good at? What do your friends and family think you're good at as well? What are you constantly talking about? That is basically how you go about finding an idea, right? And what you do from there is you've got a bit of an idea now and you think, you know what? I'm actually quite good at A, B, and C. You know what? I'm actually very interested in this. I want to learn a little bit more. And what you do next is you have to locate problems. It's all about problems. You have to locate problems and look to provide a solution to them. So we solve problems, basically. That is all what business is about. Every part of business is just about solving problems. So we have to get out into the marketplace to see what people are actually suffering with, like what are their problems. So this comes, I'm going to list this down under niche, okay? So we've got niche research here. Now, every person, I'd say like 90% of entrepreneurs, bearing in mind I coach people, I work with them one-on-one, I work with teams, you know, people pay me good money to come in and consult for them, give them ideas and all this stuff, right? And I would say like 90% of entrepreneurs, 90% of businesses don't niche down. They don't work out why, you know, who they are specifically helping. In their head, let's take life coaches, for example. I'm just going to use life coaches. I'm sorry, in all my videos, I always fire shots at life coaches, and I don't mean to. It's just that, like, these guys are a very obvious, like, group who generally tend to get things like skew with on their first, you know, when they're early in business. So life coaches, they generally think I have overcome in my life X, Y, and Z. So I know people like me will also overcome X, Y, and Z. All right. But they don't think to themselves. So what they do is they think, I'm just going to go out there and hunt for people who have X, Y, and Z problem. Now, the problem with that is that this problem here, this X, Y, and Z, which they suffered with, it might just be literally unique to them. They might be the only people who are feeling that problem. Probably not, but sometimes like the problems are so abstract that they just think like it's a big ocean out there and like everyone has these problems, when really the problem's only applicable to them. So first of all, we don't want to be basing the problems off ideas that we have in our head. Secondly, why would we ever niche down? Well, the reason we niche down is most people who don't niche down, at some point their business goes belly up and they have problems and they have to come back and they have to look at their niche, right? They have to look at who they're offering things to. So when they, how do I say this? Like in 2022, so many people are online trying to do business, right? And if you try, and let's look at this. Let's just pretend this is the whole world of people trying to do business. And if you try and target the whole world, right, you're spreading yourself way too thin. You can't target the whole world. You haven't got the resources, the time, or the energy to target the whole world. Because the reason why is because every single part of the world are suffering from different problems. They all have completely different problems. And if you try and target everyone, you will speak to no one and you will close no clients. I have seen this again and again and again, and I don't know why people just don't do their niche research. Because it saves them so much money. It's boring and it's unsexy as hell, but like it saves them so much money. Okay. However, if you target a specific group here, it's very, very easy to become the authority of this group. And when you become the authority, when you become the big fish in a small ocean, people, then guess what? The word gets around. Oh, the blah, blah, blah can solve my problem. Oh, blah, blah, blah solve that person's problem. They can probably solve mine. The word spreads throughout the communities and people end up seeing you as an authority and they will come over to you as an authority. They will find you. It's also much easier to learn the language and learn the specific problems and what specific solutions they have when they are just targeting a small group of people. So for instance, I was speaking to a therapist once, actually a family friend, right? And they were doing hypnotherapy and psychotherapy. And they were taking basically every type of customer that came through the door, every type of client that came through the door, they were taking them on as a client, right? But as a consequence, like they would have dips in the business. They would have like loads of suddenly time where they would have like no time for themselves because they had so many clients coming in. And I was like, what can you charge the most for? And they were like, well, I could charge the most for helping people quit smoking. And I was like, is smoking a big problem? Of course it is, right? Everyone is smoking, right? Not as many as a few years ago, but most people are smoking. So they were like, okay, I was like, why don't you just target people who are desperate to quit smoking? So they repositioned like their entire offer, and this was just completely free advice to this person because it's a family friend. They repositioned their entire offer. They specifically just they dropped all the other clients and specifically just targeted people who were looking to quit smoking. And because they changed like their adverts and things, they changed the wording of their adverts. Their business is now like way, way, way more successful than it was before because they are now the king of a small ocean. They are the killer shark. Killer shark? Yeah. Great white shark of this tiny ocean. All the food's for them because they're not spreading themselves thin anymore. Even though here's the thing, one of their objections to me was, well, I want to help everyone. I want to help more people. I was like, but you will help more people if you actually target smaller. Blows your mind, right? And now they get more clients, so they actually help more people. So goals were hit on both ends, right? So what are we up to here? We have found the interest, we've found the niche, right? So you found your niche, you found your interest. Now what we want to do is, I'm going to scribble all this out, is we want to create a compelling offer, right? What is it you're actually going to help these guys with, right? So people respond to either, here's a few things. If we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, always look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And generally, if you can solve problems on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you are doing quite well. Generally, people either need more money, need more time, need to feel happier, need to feel better about themselves. Let's think. Being tested here. Money, more time, more freedom. Freedom. All right. So we have to work out what part of our offer can give these people these things here: money, time, freedom, security, things like this, right? So what we do is when we found our like niche of people, we've located our niche of people, we've done a bit of research on the internet, we've found out like this group of people mainly suffer with this problem. Now what we want to do is we actually want to reach out to as many people as possible. I would say 10 to 30 different people. You might have to pitch 100 people and you say to them, these are potential customers, right? But you're not pitching them. You're pitching them to do some research with them. You say to them, hey, look, I'm looking at moving into X, Y, and Z niche, and I'm looking to help people with X, Y, and Z problem. I know you're in this area at the moment. You would actually be my ideal client. You could send this via email. You can send this via like a LinkedIn message. You can just find a way to contact them. And you say, would you be open just to do like a research call? I promise I won't sell to you or anything like this. It's purely just for my benefit, and I would love to speak to someone who is my potential ideal client. You might have to reach out to 100 people to get between 10 to 30 people to say yes. I would just go straight in with it on like the first message, all right? None of this like relationship building doesn't work with like research stuff, okay? I would also look in your marketplace at people who are offering something similar to you. So we've got the experts who are offering something similar to you and the potential customers, okay? You should be speaking to both of these guys. Both of these guys, you should be doing the same thing. You should be phrasing these guys as an expert. People are very self-interested, and if you can phrase them as an expert, come across very humble to them. Don't be like, give me all your advice. Follow up with them afterwards, after you've had your call, but say like, I know you're an expert in this field. I would love to get some insight from you. I have literally done these steps. It works, okay? So experts, potential customers. From here, you will start to hear trends. And this is the reason why you do a lot of these calls, right? You do a lot of these messages. Some people won't want to jump on calls. Just get them to send you a message. Send across 3 questions via Messenger and see if they will answer them as well. So you will start to hear potential trends from these guys. You will start to hear problems. Do not put problems in the head. This is like business mistake 101, right? Some people jump on calls with people as research calls, and they'll say, are you suffering with this? Do you feel like this is a problem? No, just say, what are your biggest challenges to you right now? And you will hear a ton of different problems. You will hear a ton of different challenges these people were having. But over time, you will hear the trends, right? Oh, these are trends, and this fits, guess what, into my interest and my expertise. I can actually help them solve this, all right? So you will come up with your research from here. And then what you do is you come up with your offer. You make your offer a little bit compelling. So let's just say you've heard, you've heard 3 problems. You've decided to go with problem 1, all right? Because you know you can help this. And what happens here is you have to make this a bit mouth-watering, okay? So the offer. So I would make it specific. So if you were going to help people get leads, let's just say I'm using kind of my example, right? If you were to help people get leads, you wouldn't just say, I will help you get leads, because you're not separated from anybody else, right? You would say, I can help you get 12 to 15 leads. Oops, that says 75. 12 to 15 leads per week. Obviously, this is based in reality. So I would be trusting that I can actually help this person get 12 to 15 leads a week. And as a consequence, I would say 12 to 15 leads per week. All right. So it's made it a little bit more mouthwatering. You can offer also a guarantee if you want, because you're just getting started, right? You need more than the money right now. You need the experience. And experience comes in the form of testimonials as well. You need the testimonials. So you can either say, I will offer you 12 to 15 leads. I can get you 12 to 15 leads per week, or your money back. Or you could say, in exchange for a testimonial, because I'm just getting started, right? So we are wanting to get experience, because the next problem you're going to face is you now know your offer, you know your niche, you know your interest. So let's just say, up in the training so far, we know the niche, we know your interest, we know your offer. All right. Now the problem is we want to be reaching out to people to try and get them as clients. But the problem you're going to come across is that you've got no credibility. All right. You've got no credibility. I'm going to put a big red cross through this. No credibility. That's a problem, okay? Because people, you don't want to buy an Amazon product if it hasn't got any reviews, right? You want other people to have tested it, right? To make sure, A, you're not getting scammed. To make sure, B, you are not, it's going to be worthwhile, right? Okay. So, niche, interest, offer, no credibility. What we must do now is we must take this to market, niche, interest, offer, and we must basically, the quickest way to get clients is to use DMs. People argue with me on this, but I've done it again and again and again. Use DMs, instant messenger. Emails are less effective than DMs, okay? And what it's to do is direct messaging. So direct messages. You should be either going to Facebook, LinkedIn, potentially Instagram as well. And you should be connecting with people or friend requesting people. If you're on Facebook, friend request, asking them to be your friend. And then what you should be doing from that is you should be messaging these people. You should be direct messaging people, saying, this is what I've connected with you because you are X, Y, and Z person, and this is what I have to offer. Is this of interest to you? Right? We're not aiming for, like, I help people in companies like come up with great DMs to send to people. But at the moment, we're too new to do this. We just need a bit of momentum. So I would just be sending this to people, either having like a tiny bit of conversation with them first, or just straight away, just asking them. Just ask. The quickest way to know what people are interested in, and if they're interested, is just to be direct and to ask, right? Ask them. Ask if they are interested in this. If they say yes, ask them to jump on a call, right? Now, the problem of credibility comes in next. And because when it comes to jumping on the call, what I would do on these calls, by the way, is I would be basically, how do I move this down? On these calls, I would basically be asking them what their pain points are. I'd be asking them, so pain points, their challenges, okay, AKA challenges. I would be asking them where they want to get to, like what are their goals, what are their future, right? This is called gap selling, future. Okay, so now we have like their pain situation here, and we have their future situation here. You shall be the person who takes them from there to there. This is you right here. This is what you will be doing. And this is obviously like for service-based businesses. So now you must convince these people that you are a person that can help them get there. Now, the problem is, if you're super new, which I'm assuming that you are, you have no credibility, no testimonials, nothing like that. And when you have no testimonials, people are instantly, they distrust you, right? They're like, they don't want to spend money on you. Okay, so you basically have to do anything to close the sale here. Apart from lie to the person, don't do that. But you can do anything to close the sale via, what's wrong with my pen? It's just being weird. By doing it super cheap, because remember, the goal here is not money, it's experience, it's testimonials, it's to build the credibility. You can either do it for cheap, give an amazing guarantee. That's a bit risky if you're just starting off in business. Cheap guarantee, or even better is working for free. If you say to a person, look, I will help you get from A to B for completely free in exchange for a video testimonial, and a LinkedIn recommendation. The LinkedIn recommendations are good because they're hard to fake, right? LinkedIn recommendation. So anyone can, and when you post this to social media later, anyone can basically, type an email out and send it to themselves saying, Rob is really good at this, right? But it's BS and people see straight through it, right? So the best thing to do is have a person speaking into a video saying, Rob helped me with X, Y, and Z. The second best one is to get LinkedIn recommendations because they've actually come from another profile. And then these people, your potential clients, can click on the LinkedIn recommendations in your personal profile and actually see that this other person who's left you this recommendation is actually a real person. So remember, in this day and age with everyone online, there's not more opportunity than ever. There's actually less, and the reason why there's less is because people are hiding their wallets even more. Imagine every day you've got a potential salesman knocking at your door, desperately trying to sell you something. You'd be like, damn, man, I don't want to buy from you. And then on the 50th time someone's knocked, which might be you in the business, you'd be like, I'm not even going to open the door, right? So you need real testimonials because people are worried that there's a lot of scams out there. Okay, this is all starting to make sense to you now. So cheap, free guarantee, and you rinse and repeat this process until you land 1 to 3 clients, I would say, either very cheap or free. Okay, with the exchange of testimonials, because you're looking for the experience, you're going to have to deal with service delivery, right? So if you're doing something like Facebook ads for people, it's going to be quite hard to do it for free. So you would be saying, look, I'll run your campaigns for you for etc. amount of time. Make sure that you leave a time limit on it so you don't end up working for free forever, right? And if they are working really well, can you, A, give me a testimonial? You just have to pay for the adverts cost. I will do the adverts for completely free for 12 weeks. If we get a good result, can you leave me a testimonial? And then can we talk about basically, you know, me working for a price? And you charge them a price, right? So you've got to rinse and repeat this process again and again and again. Okay, where are we? Oh, this is so hard to control, man. Very hard to control. Just give me 1 sec. Here we go. Yeah. Unreal. All right, I've cleaned all this up. So this is where we are right now. We have a great place as well to look is you can look in Facebook groups as well. So Facebook groups, if you go up to like the search bar on Facebook, you can pretty much search any interest and you can find groups of people that are you know, in this group there, and you can connect with these people. So for instance, if you're trying to help people who are struggling with procrastination, it might have procrastination Facebook groups. You've got to get creative with how you can find people. You know, all these people in this group are going to be interested in overcoming procrastination. So you can then gently connect with them to your Facebook profile. If you do it too aggressively, you'll get thrown out of the groups because nobody likes people who are poaching in their own groups, okay? So you are now at a stage where you have either 0 clients or hopefully using these techniques to get you your first 1 to 3 clients. Something else which you can do is during your niche research, you've spoke to a person, you've had with these potential customers, you spoke to a person, you had a really good conversation with them on the phone, and they say, you know, like, you know, these are my problems, this is like where my goals are, and you're like, oh, great, great, great. Rather than just ending the call and being like, thank you very much for all your time, and that, say, thank you so much for all your time. This is a master level, this is a black belt level trick. Thank you so much for all your time. So I'm going to take a little bit of time now to go away and think about what you said. I'm also in the process of developing this solution because, like, other people have said it as well. Would you mind if I keep you up to date with how the solution goes? And if I do eventually build this solution, would you mind me reaching back out to you to see, you know, what you think of it as well? Okay. They'll be like, yeah, sure, no problem. And what you do is once you've developed your solution, you can then either ask them to jump on a call with you, or you can ask them to jump on a call to give you feedback about the solution. And on that call, you tell them exactly what your solution is going to do, right? You see how we've come under the radar here of getting potential clients. We've literally done niche research, but at the same time, built up our leads list. Okay, most people don't do this. They don't think outside the box enough to do this, but you can actually turn your niche research, and everyone wants to help with niche research. Like, you're not going to get as much resistance in that. Everyone wants to turn this niche research. Nobody wants to turn this niche research into leads, but it's very possible, right? So you might get actually a few clients from all the people you've interviewed to, you know, about their potential problem, right? Okay. What I would say, oops, I just kicked my camera. What I would say as well is don't, a lot of people from the niche research, this is something big to watch out for. From the niche research, a lot of people, oh my days, what's going on here? From the niche research, a lot of people basically start, rather than doing the hard work, the hard route of actually reaching out to get potential clients, they start instead essentially procrastinating, but they do it in what looks like a productive way, and they start fully building out a program they start fully building out a program. So for instance, if they're looking to do some coaching or something, and that's what they think their interest is, that's what they think their offer is, coaching, they end up building out this massive program, all right, thinking that people will buy this solution. But what happens generally is they go to market after 6 months of building this program, they've made no extra money, and they go to market and nobody buys it. So they just sunk time and money into absolutely nothing. Do not do this. If you are going to be building a program, I would recommend not building your program for your first 1 to 3, probably like 5 clients. I recommend not building your program then, because you want to see if it repeatedly sells. You don't want to sink loads of time into something if you're going to have to completely pivot your offer next, right? So you want to see if it actually sells first of all. And I would be noting down like the most common questions from your clients, like where is like the bottlenecks they're facing, and then I would be slowly on the back end over months building instructional videos about how you solve these problems, right? Because you're going to be building up a course very, very slowly, like almost as, you know, not in like a deliberate way either. It'll be less work for yourself and it'll be more, it'll save you time as well. So don't build, I would consult first with them and then build afterwards. Don't jump straight into programs. Don't get like those, you know, don't become like the green-eyed monster who's just constantly looking at what everyone else is doing in the marketplace. All your competitors, oh, they're making all this money, they're making all this money. Most of them aren't making very good money at all. I can tell you this because I have a lot of competitors in my marketplace and most of them are not making any money at all, right? But they've built out all these programs because they didn't follow these steps. So save yourself some time here. Okay. Now you're at a stage where, you know, you got a few clients under your belt, you got a little bit of credibility. Oops, what have I done here? Okay, you got a bit of credibility under your belt. What's going on? Oh, I was using the wrong end of my pen. Couldn't figure that out. I could figure all this stuff out, but I don't know how to use a pen. Nightmare. So now, what happens is, over time, you might have, you know, got some more savings in your bank. You know, you might have. This is really annoying. More savings in your bag. You might have managed to quit your job or at least move to part-time. And you're in a very different situation than where you started at the start. But with a new situation, you now have new problems. And the new problems that you will have are, well, first of all, you might now be working every hour under the sun. All right, so no time. Trying to service these clients, okay? So if you're working every hour under the sun, I would have expected you to have quit your job by now, because that would be the logical thing. That's 35 to 50 hours a week you could free up right there. Quitting your job completely. If you move to part-time at some point and you've got no time, but you're not making enough money from your current clients to cover those part-time hours of your job, you really should be charging more for what you're doing, right? That's like a massive, that's the universe telling you you need to charge more. All right, so no time, so quit job. And what generally happens is at a point, most people get no time and they've already quit their job, right? So they've just got no time because they're servicing all these clients, and like the times that they're not servicing all these clients, they, you know, are having to friggin' DM people, trying to find clients and that just to keep the pipeline full. So in this area, we want to be looking to start to scale. Now you can scale in a few different ways here. You can scale by hiring a team member, part-time team member, PT team member, to help you with all the admin tasks throughout the week. So the tiny admin tasks, you know, we've all got like these tiny admin tasks that basically take up all our time, but they don't actually add any value to anything, right? They're just all these admin tasks to take all this time, you know, they're just a right nightmare, right? So you hire a part-time team member and you get them to shadow you to start taking care of all these admin tasks, right? So admin tasks, get rid of all those. Okay, that's one way to scale. Another way to scale is then actually build out the course program. The course program. So rather than actually consulting for people, we can now start to sell this, and it takes away our service delivery. So sell program to help take away the service delivery. So service delivery, I'm going to put service del, service, big red line through it. Okay. So building the course program, which then moves over to selling the program, which then moves over to service delivery. The next way to scale, so we got rid of the service delivery, but now what we need to do is actually get rid of the client acquisition, because that is also a massive time suck. So we can either hire team members to do your DMs for you. We can start posting more potent content. So potent would be things like testimonials, because by now you're asking people testimonials, you're getting your credibility right up. So more potent content. Or we could move on to, how do I move this down without actually? We could move on to, I'm not sure how to do this. We could move on to scaling using adverts. Okay, so adverts could come in the form of Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. And it's a bit out of the scope of this video, but basically you can look at doing that. So if you take, if we scroll out of here a little bit, this is taking you out of the picture. So the bottleneck is actually you. That's the bottleneck when you get to this stage. So the bottleneck is you, and we take you out of the picture by getting a team member to do the admin tasks, by building a course program so it takes out your service delivery, by getting rid of your client acquisition side where you're actually trying to sign customers, by either automating your processes, hiring team members to do your DMs, to do your content strategy, or scaling with Facebook ads, YouTube ads, TikTok as well. And the more, and here's the beauty of it, right? The more content you get, testimonials you get from signing more clients, the more money that you can do to pump into this, which then once again pumps out even more testimonials. I was looking at like Sam Ovens' page. Sam Ovens is like, he is very good at online business, and he has like 4,000 testimonials. These aren't just written testimonials. These are like video testimonials. People have sent like 4,000 in. Tai Lopez has something like 20,000 or like 30,000 actual testimonials from people. All right. And all of this just gets flywheeled to you having a more compelling offer. And you see like the path which it has to take. It's not an easy path, Let's talk a little bit about what can change throughout the whole thing, mindset. So I struggled with this at the start, and the reason why I struggled with this is I actually came from quite a poor home. When you come from quite a poor home, you've never really experienced money. You feel guilty asking people to close, to pay you. You have all these sorts of beliefs, but that was just mine, right? And everyone has all sorts of different mindset things. They either procrastinate too much, they're either not hungry enough, they either aren't doing the work, or maybe they've got like really limiting beliefs as well. The good thing about mindsets is that it changes over time. So you today, so 10 years ago, you would have had a different mindset than what you do now. And the reason why you would have had a different mindset is because you've had a lot of different experiences. Okay. And experiences change your beliefs. Okay. So I'm a very social person. There's a good example of it. I'm a very, very social person. During the course of, the pandemic and everything, I really worked on my business for like the first 4 months. And then after we were locked down for like a long time, I think we were locked down for 4 months. So I was really working hard on like my business for the first like 3 months, I think, if I'm thinking back. And during like the last month, I'm a very social person. I'm around people all the time. I like to speak. I like to chat with people. I remember that I actually started getting a little bit negative. And I actually started thinking just like negative, like I was just thinking like, oh, blah, blah, blah hasn't contacted me. Oh, these people probably don't care. And you find that you actually get quite negative. And the reason why is because my beliefs were starting to just be adjusted to the experiences I was having. And the experiences I was having was like, I wasn't really having an experience because we were all locked at home. And I know this, I'm just giving an example here. I know like loads of people suffered much worse than that. But my point is, if the more you can get yourself out into new experiences, because as soon as the lockdown lifted and I got myself around my friends again, I was like, even my brain, like, even though I'm quite aware of all this, it convinced me that, I should be being negative, and I had a negative outlook because of it. So it's very interesting, isn't it? So as soon as you get yourself around new experiences that potentially, push comfort zone, you start to get different beliefs, okay? And then those beliefs help you reach a different level. It's kind of like a ladder like this, belief, new actions, belief, new actions, belief, new actions, right? And you just climb and climb and climb. And at the point where you're scaling your business, you will not be the same person as you were once, at the very, very start where you were, trying to get your first few clients, where you were thinking like, should I quit my job and just go all into this? You won't be the same person. But the thing is, you have to continuously push your comfort zone. You have to not be in denial about things. And you have to keep really looking like objectively at the situation as well. You should be fully embracing that this period of, going from zero to building up your business to more than a full-time income, okay, is going to be very, very uncomfortable for you. You have to understand that the person who's going to complete this over here is not going to be the same person who started out here, right? They're just not going to be the same person. I've gave this person like 8 legs and I didn't mean to. It's kind of weird. Let's see what happens when I talk for a long time. I just start losing my mind, right? So this person is not going to be exactly the same as the person who they end up as, and for good reason, because if you already were this person here, right, at the very start, you would already be in this position here. You would already be doing all these good things, but you're not, because you need to go through like the life cycle, the development cycle, where you become a completely different person at the end. It's just how your mindset improves, your beliefs become more abundant, you get confidence as well, beliefs abundant, confident as well. And you can face your fears, okay? Every part of this process that I've talked to you about is pretty damn scary, I remember sending my first DM to my first research prospect. I remember hovering over the keyboard like this. I was hovering, and I was like, I don't know if I can send this message. I don't know if, I checked through it for like literally an hour just to make sure everything's spelt right? Now, if I go back and do things like this, my spelling's all over the place. I don't really care that much. And the reason why is because I've placed less importance on that single person. All right. So at the old days, the old me, you believe that, like, here it is, right? This is the old me, and this will be the old you as well. You believe that you put more importance on people, events, things, which than is deserved, right? So I'm talking to you about doing your market research and messaging 100 people, right? Or 100, right? But when you first reach out to that first person, person one, you're like, oh, if this person doesn't reply to me, what happens if they think I'm stupid? What happens if they say a bad response back? So as a consequence, you put more importance on them. And people actually get massively psyched out at all these uncomfortable levels. They get psyched out because they're like, oh, they'd rather just stay in comfort than take that little leap. But when you actually look at the whole picture, you zoom right out, those little leaps aren't, like, they're just not big at all. Like, they're just not that important, right? Because you should be looking at general trends, not just the importance of one person. I remember I messaged a guy in like 2015. I was copying and pasting I think it was 2015. I was copying and pasting my market research, the script I had at the time, and basically I messaged this guy and he got like super offended. I was trying to like build some personal development consulting or something like that. I can't quite remember. But anyway, I messaged this guy and I was like, looks like you're in the personal development niche. I can like offer some insight or something here. I think I pitched him as though I could offer some insight. Maybe I was trying to get him on board as a client. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's such a long time ago now. It's 2022. But basically, I do remember that he replied back with like the most shameful, like shaming reply ever. He was like, what's wrong with this industry? Like, have you not read anything about me? Blah, 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 blah. And I got the message. I remember I actually took like a year break straight after that. I was just like, business is not for me. Business is not for me, because this guy had turned around and friggin' chewed me out. I also wasn't that resilient either. Like, my mindset hadn't kept up. So I just assumed that business wasn't really for me. Now, in these days, if somebody chewed me up like that, and you won't get it very often. I approached that guy wrong, but like, you might get it 1 every 1,000 people, right? Somebody might just, not like you, and they won't ever give you an aggressive reply. They'll just be like, they'll just send something like a bit sarcastic back or something like that. But this guy threw me off my horse for such a long time. And like, if I got that in today's age, I'd be like, screw that guy. I'd move on, right? So you have to be careful about, like, you have to understand that there's kind of levels to developing yourself. And, it's almost a byproduct of going through everything I've just talked to you about. Like, you will find that you eventually start to become this different person. And, what happened to me was, like, my friends started to change as well. Just because, like, for me personally, when you change, like, yourself as an entire different person, like, maybe they've got like beliefs which are almost holding you back in a little way. Maybe like you don't have as much fun with them anymore because you think differently from them now. You see like the real world for what it is. Like, it's a great journey. It's very, very tough though. So that's number 2. Like, don't let people throw you off like the horse. You must keep developing yourself. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else which you should really be knowing now. I'm pretty sure if you do these steps, you will do pretty well, right? You will do pretty well. And like, don't fall, this is something else as well. Don't fall into a lot of people online. I don't know why people do this. People are attracted to being center of attention and famous, all right? And this is something that like one of my mentors taught me, the fame versus rich paradigm, right? So a lot of people get onto social media, they start to do the business and they get sidetracked and they start just posting loads and loads and loads of content all the time. They start trying to become social media famous, I call it. They start trying to become an influencer, all right? But the problem is most of these influencers have $0, $0. Whereas most people who are actually rich, they aren't that well known, honestly. They aren't as well known as some of these influencers. Now, I'm not saying to go down this route is completely bad, right? So I went for the rich route rather than the influencer route. And I noticed a whole bunch of people were going for the influencer route as well. I had one of my competitors, just one, who got social media famous. She got social media famous in 2 months of essentially doing what I was doing. She got loads of inbound leads from that. So it did work quite well. She got much more than me, right? The thing is, so people would look at her and be like, great, I should completely be copying this. If you put enough content out there, you might eventually get something that blows up. But she had a blow up very early, which is quite lucky, right? That isn't the typical person's journey. Usually people will try for years and they don't actually get anything at all. And when they don't get anything at all, they just kind of give up, right? So you should always be aiming for this here, because what I've just painted out to you in this whole video is the logical steps, right? You can't just hit and hope like this. It's not realistic, because you might be hitting and hoping for 6 years and still nothing's happened. And then suddenly you're like, well, now I'm, 6 years older. I'm in a job. I've got all these other sort of pressures on me. Starting a business is not really a good time now. So you have to be careful and think of that as well. So I hope this video really helped you today, guys. Oh, I'm supposed to pitch my own product as well. I keep getting told off for this by one of the guys who teaches me. He's like, you should be pitching more. You should not give as much value. I'm like, I kind of like to give the value as well. But in terms of pitching, I have a LinkedIn program. It helps people get leads through LinkedIn using very similar approaches to this right here. It helps you get referrals, handle sales. And the best way to actually succeed in this is to follow a proven program. Now, I've got a program out there which teaches you how to go from complete strangers on LinkedIn to actually building a client base. It's everything from helping you with client referrals. It's helping you overcome objections. It's looking in hard to find places to find potential clients which aren't actually being looked at by your potential customers. It's how to build out a profile which sells, how to use persuasion, how to actually overcome people's objections in Messenger when they don't take too kindly to you as well. The complete end-to-end sales process, how to book 20 calls in one LinkedIn post. I've got all these things in this program. I'm going to leave a link underneath this video where you can check this program out. I'm going to probably put a discount on it as well, because it's a $3,000 program, but I'm going to put a bit of a discount on it so you can go there and buy it. Because if you've watched this whole video now, I assume you're pretty committed. So I'm going to put a good discount on this so you can just go ahead and click the link and go and sign up if you want. So that's kind of everything I want to cover in this video. If you've got any questions about starting a business in 2022, I'd love to hear them underneath. I'll try and, when I got some time, I'll try and handle them as much as possible. But I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one. Take care.